you want lip gloss?
Sure.
All right. Any questions before we begin?
Nope.
You were born ready, weren't you?
Yep.
I have a feeling. How do I look, Ruthie? Let's get to the important part.
Great.
I mean, let's cut to the chase. Okay, so go ahead, test again.
Test.
My name's Ruthie.
My name's Ruthie.
I came to party.
party.
Okay, I think we're good. Ruthie Walling.
Hi.
Welcome to the Carrie Croft Show.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be here?
Yes.
You're the youngest guest ever to be here, and the biggest badass.
I know.
But you knew that, right?
Yeah, I knew that.
Obvi.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I'm just pleased as punch.
Me too.
You're the youngest.
Yep.
And the biggest warrior in my eyes. How old are you?
15.
Ripe old age of 15.
Yep.
And you just turned 15, right?
Yep.
June
17th. Yep.
Girlfriend.
I know.
You're getting long in the tooth. You know what that means?
No.
That's what old people say when they say you're getting old.
I'm getting old.
You're getting long.
I'm getting long.
Long in the tooth. Unbelievable. So,
Yeah.
so Ruthie, let's frame this up for people, how we know each other. I happen to live across the street from your crazy uncle
Yeah.
and aunt,
Yeah.
Kathy and Ryan Rexis.
Yeah.
Shout out. Crazy old neighbors, you. And so we've gotten to know each other over time, and I have been, I guess, graced with the presence of the Walling family.
Yep.
And the way that I see your family from afar is this lively brood. You got Chris and Jackie, and then you got Julia, Sally, Leo, and Ruthie.
Yeah.
I mean, and you guys are just always exuding positivity and strength and being there for each other, right?
Yeah.
And so then our friendship developed organically
Yeah, and I
over
became
time.
totally obsessed with you.
You did?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I was so obsessed with you.
Tell me more about how you're obsessed with me. No, that's very sweet. And I was obsessed with you. I think the obsession was
Is
mutual.
there.
And it will never die. It will never go away.
Yeah.
So tell me about your family a little bit. Like what you're the baby and how you fit in. Like how would you describe, just like Reader's Digest version, meaning like in a quick way, how would you describe your family?
Supportive. Awesome. I love my family.
Your family, it crushes it.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah. My family's awesome.
They are. So Ruthie, you were born with a heart defect, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about what that is just from a medical perspective so we can set the tone for people to understand what it was that you were born with first.
Well, I had a hole in my heart when I was born, so I had to get like a pacemaker. When I was born, I had like 6 surgeries, like when I was just a baby, maybe 4 surgeries when I was a baby, just to keep me alive. And
Yeah. So with your heart condition, you've had to modify things as you have been growing up, right?
Yeah.
So talk about what that was like for you and still is for you to this day in terms of how you have to be careful physically and sort of like what that feels like for you walking around, having that condition.
Well, I definitely can't I'm not physically, I can't do as much physically as my other kids my age can do. So it's hard, but it's hard. I don't know. I just don't have a lot of, I don't know what the word is, but
stamina maybe?
Yeah,
or
stamina.
if you get out of breath easier, maybe you have to be more careful than your counterparts, right?
Yeah. So it was definitely hard because a lot of the kids would, be able to do all this stuff. And then I'd always try to keep up and I'd always try to, just be like all of them. But
Yeah.
it was hard.
But you know what I've noticed, so having to maybe modify physically and not being able to quote unquote keep up, I feel like you have developed this moxie and this sort of grit and quiet strength, right? So I think what you have lacked in being able to do physical activity, you have mentally started to build this badass, right? That's able to handle life's challenges.
Yeah.
Do you feel that inside?
Yeah, I do. It's hard, but I feel it a lot.
Yeah. So like, do you have this little whisper where it's like, Ruthie?
Yeah, my family is always that for me.
So when if you get upset or down where you're like, hey, I wish I could run, I wish I could sprint around the block right now. Give me like, what would one of your family members, like what comes to mind? What would they say to you, or how do they sort of get you back where you need to be back on the rails?
Well, they always try to tell me that like I can, like they'll just be like, it's just in the mind, you can do it. Yeah. But they don't ever like let me know like that I can't do it. They'll always push me like to know that I can. So,
And you have a special relationship with each of your siblings, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk through that a little bit. Okay. So let's start with the eldest, Julia. Who from my perspective seems to be sort of this independent spitfire, like, wild horse.
Yeah.
So what's your relationship like with Julia?
Well, me and her are just like, I don't know. When we're together, it's just, you don't know what to expect. But we always just, we always have advice for each other. She always gives me advice. I always give her advice. And we're always laughing together. Our favorite thing to do together is go get sushi.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Julia, you have fun. It's unpredictable, wild, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to the next one, Sally, who I feel like she's the opposite of that, right? Sally is maternal and sweet and predictable.
Yeah, but me and Sally, we still have a great time together.
Oh, for sure.
We laugh all the time. I think we laugh the hardest together out of all my siblings.
I bet you probably would. You guys are best friends, aren't you?
Yeah, we're best friends.
Soul sisters?
Soul sisters.
I love that.
Yeah, she's always there for me, just like all my siblings.
Right. And then last but not least,
Leo.
Leo's been charming. Leo is got charisma and charm that he could bottle and sell for a profit.
Yeah.
I mean, this is me from looking, from a 10,000-foot view. I'm like, what's up with this kid?
Yeah.
I mean, handsome.
He's got
golf, talent.
He's got
swagger,
many talents.
You know what? He's got the riz.
Yeah.
Is that what you kids say these days?
Yeah.
Do you see how cool I am?
Yeah, you're very cool.
I keep it on. I keep it on the dial. He's got the riz.
He's got the riz.
Do you want to tell the people out there, because my community is a little old?
Well, the riz is like. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's just how good he is with like.
It's charisma.
Girls, and he always tells me to rate his riz.
Yeah. Oh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But he's off the market now.
Yeah.
With this new girlfriend.
Yeah.
So tell me about Leo. How has he kind of affected you and impacted you?
Well, he's very he's definitely someone I look up to like the most because of the way like he plays golf, I always look up to that, but he never gives up. I don't know, me and him we have a good relationship. We're just
buds.
Yeah, we're buds.
Yeah. What about mom and dad?
Oh, mom and dad are great.
I mean, are they just the best two parents a girl could ever ask for?
Yes. They're the most supportive parents ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's keep walking through your journey.
Okay.
So, you have this heart condition, and now what happens is your back starts to become a problem, and you've got what was going on with your back?
I had scoliosis, so it was like a huge, I had like a 90%, 80% curvature, so it was like, this was like a straight back, mine went like, but it was, yeah. So,
but it progressively happened. Like, when did it start for you? When did the scoliosis start where you were like, okay, I'm starting to physically see something happening?
Well, I think like when I was like 7 or 6, it started to evolve, but it wasn't as bad. And then when I got into like maybe like 6th, 7th grade is when it really got bad, maybe even 5th grade. And that's when I started to become like super like insecure about it, because I always saw it and stuff.
Well, right. So you're a teenager, you're 15 years old. And at the time you're probably like 11, 12, and you're just thinking superficially, like any of us would be at your age, like, hey, I want to have a straight back, and I would like to be able to fit into clothes, right?
Yeah.
And then you also have the other repercussions, like it's affecting your breathing, it's affecting your posture and all that. But as a kid, you just want to fit in and just have things go easily.
Yeah, and with people saying stuff to you about it doesn't even help it.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Why are kids so mean?
I don't know.
You're not mean.
No.
And you probably have learned that, though.
Yeah.
Do you think you've learned a lot of compassion and empathy being
for other
in your
people,
situation?
definitely. Yeah.
So are you someone, if you see someone who clearly either has a situation or has a special need, are you like dialed right in to them because of everything you've gone through?
Yeah. Well, I feel for them. Yeah. Like, I always, I know what I know how they feel, so I always do try to.
You know what I think? I think regardless, I think your core makeup is just as sweet and pure as can be. But I think with your situation, you probably are just that much more compassionate.
Yeah.
So, okay, so then about 2 years ago, you're in a situation now where you literally were like leaning over.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, like you said, 90% curvature. So, in a normal situation, they would say, yeah, absolutely, you have to have surgery. You cannot continue to live like this. Well, now your parents and the doctors have to come together to say, we have this heart condition and now we have this back condition. We're at a crossroads. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
What was that like? I'm sure you were pushing hard, because I'm sure your parents were, nobody wanted you to go under anesthesia. The doctors, were nervous. You had to find a team that would actually take your case, but you were pushing. Like, you're like, I have to do this, right? So go back to that. And do you remember any conversations you had with your parents and doctors where you were kind of like, this is what I want to do?
Well, it was very scary, knowing the risks, like knowing that I could possibly come out like paralyzed, because that was always a risk. But I always I did ask my parents like questions about like, if I was like gone, what would you do with, like, would I be able to see you guys like from in heaven or just like that? But I'd always ask my doctors like if I like what the risks were, and I was ready for the risks, but I was also ready to get it over with, because I had something in me that just told me that I would make it through it.
Yeah,
I knew I would.
Yeah, I feel like you had a really
faith.
Yeah, and I think your family needed that.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they needed you to be that way, because that had to be, to date, like the scariest, hardest thing that they've had to go through, and that you went through.
Yeah.
But I felt like that. I felt like you stealthily knew.
Yeah, they knew I was aware of it. I knew I was aware of it, but I tried to just put those aside and just.
Well, because you wanted to wear a prom dress. You're like, hey, I want to like eventually like, if I go to a school dance, if I'm asked on a date, like I want to look good in my clothes.
Yeah.
I mean, you let's be honest, like, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, bring this on.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a countdown. I was so ready for it.
So then your parents find the most perfect cardiologist team mixed with the orthopedic team in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
And you got super comfortable. I feel like they completely knew you, did everything possible. And then, it comes to the day of your surgery. And I remember everybody, the phone tree, so your family, you have your family, and then you have your friends and your neighbors. And we were all just like, you were surrounded with the biggest system of strength I think any person has ever been, right?
Yeah.
You felt that.
Yeah, knowing that people were like, they were all there for me and all had like, you know, knew that I was gonna do like good. Like it made me feel 10 times better. And it was definitely an emotional day. It was very emotional. But yeah.
What did that look like? What do you remember from that day? Like, how was it being in there and saying goodbye to your family? And what do you remember from that day pre-surgery?
Well, it was, so we woke up, we stayed in a hotel, but I don't know, they had me go in before, and my siblings originally weren't allowed in, so like we had to FaceTime them so I could say like bye to them, but it wasn't like, but then they were allowed in. But I just remember the doctors, calling my parents out into the hallway and like, and then my parents came back in crying, and I was like, I just knew that they were telling me like that they don't know what to expect. And I remember going in, and the doctors were so nice, and I don't know, it was just so emotional. Like, it was very emotional.
So then you have that surgery was, how long was that surgery? Was it
like 12 hours?
12 hours.
Yeah, it was long.
Which seemed to your family and friends and neighbors and everybody else like every minute was an hour.
Yeah.
Right?
It felt like 1 minute to me, like
yeah.
second.
Right. Well, that's the one positive, right? It was like a blink of an eye for you. But then you come out of surgery and you're in anesthesia, and then what? Like under anesthesia, but you're coming out of the anesthesia. Then what?
Well, I remember the first thing I said when I came out was, I made it. Did I make it? I'm alive. I'm alive. And I was on a lot of like anesthesia still. So I was a little loopy, but I remember my parents were there, and I think it was like 6:00 at night, and I don't know, I just remember drinking water, and it was like the best water I've had my entire life. I just kept on drinking it and drinking it.
Wait, you were parched. You know what's funny, Ruthie, is like there are so many grown men in people who are listening. I guarantee you know one of these men. They won't even go to like the dentist because they don't want to get a cavity filled, or they don't want to go to the doctor because they're afraid to, I might have to, go under for a knee surgery or something. I mean, for you at that ripe age of 14 to be facing down that type of surgery, and the way you did it with such just grace and badassery and faith.
Yeah.
It is truly remarkable. I mean, it is just something I sit in awe of. I know I'm not alone in that.
Yeah. It's still crazy to think like that I made it through all that, because the process, the recovery, like it was so painful, like so hard, especially in the hospital, because like I could only sit on one side. I couldn't go on my back, couldn't go on this side. I had to get help to get up and go to the bathroom. It was just so long and so much.
But then nothing compared to the pain you were living with every day, right? Because you had mentioned, like, talk through that, the pain that you had pre-surgery, just walking around and trying to exist with your back being like that.
Yeah, it was, well, I mean, I'd go to school, like, when I had the scoliosis, and my back would just hurt the whole day, like, against the chairs. And so they even had to get me, like, sometimes they'd get me special chairs, but obviously I wouldn't want to do that because I don't want to stick out to the other kids in my classroom. But, and then like, the only thing that would not be hard on my back was when I lay down. But obviously I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So. Wasn't it restricting for you to breathe to it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're thinking, okay, I'll handle this temporary pain post-surgery and get myself up and running, straight back and all.
Yeah.
So how did it feel when you were like first trying on clothes? Like after you started to feel better, and like tell me about that.
It felt great.
Were you like, oh hey?
Yeah. I just remember like I mean like I'd had leggings, I put the leggings on, they're like, these fit me so much better. Like everything fit me better.
You're feeling yourself.
Yeah.
I saw you. I remember seeing you for the first time post-surgery. I was like, okay, talk about some Riz.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you deserve it.
Yeah.
And you said, so today you're basically pain-free, aside from maybe some aches and pains if you sit for too long or.
Yeah. I mean, if I just like bend down, like cleaning my rooms up, that's nothing compared to the pain I had before.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's just such a huge thing for you to have behind you.
Yeah.
You know, and just to get off your plate mentally and physically and emotionally and your whole family.
Yeah.
So looking forward into the future, Ruthie, with your crystal ball, you told me in the car ride what you want to be when you grow up. And I think that's a really good profession for you. What do you see for your future?
I want to be a psychologist.
Will you help me? So can we do a trade? When you get your degree, can you maybe give me some hours and help me in here?
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah. I think I want to be, I don't know if I want to be a clinical, like one in the hospital, but I've heard that's hard. But
obviously you can do hard things.
Yeah.
You can do hard things.
Yeah.
What makes you want to be a psychologist?
I don't know. I just think it's so interesting to see like how different people like work in the brain and like how they think and like, I don't know. I just think everything about it is so interesting.
I wonder if there's anyone out there that would let you shadow them.
Yeah.
Because it's never.
I've always thought about that.
Yeah, and you in the car you said I don't know if it's too soon to think about, and I'm like, oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
There's no time like the present.
Yeah.
Because if you have someone and you shadow them, like let's say you follow them around for a day or a week or whatever, you'd be like, wait, this really isn't for me, or this is for me. I mean, you can't be in the room obviously with their patients, but they could maybe take you, give you a different like bird's eye view into
that'd be
what
cool.
that would look like. Anything else that you think of that you may be interested in doing?
Well, I like the criminal justice side of things.
Okay.
Because Julia, she's in criminal justice, and I just think that's cool. But
you could probably help me out there too, maybe.
Yeah.
Get me out of trouble.
Yeah.
Would you be like a lawyer?
No, I don't have the brain for that.
I think you might.
I don't know. I think I would want to be like, I don't know, an FBI or an undercover.
Oh, I could see that. Stealth.
Yeah, but just depends if my physical stamina.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they let like people with like bad hearts into that.
We'll have to research that and see.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some type of of.
I wonder.
Well, I'm gonna have to Google that. What else do you see in your crystal ball for yourself, future-wise?
Well, I really want to live in New York City.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a good one.
Yeah.
The Big Apple?
Yeah. I love that city.
It's a really great city, isn't it? I bet your mom and dad would freak out. They'd get used to it, but like sending you off to New York City, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be big.
Oh, it'd be real big. But if anybody could do it, you could do it.
Yeah.
So what do you, before we close, Ruthie, anything that you, like any kind of words of wisdom or perspective that you have gained in your 15 years of life, having the heart condition, going through the back surgery, any sort of advice or perspective that you either talk to yourself about, that you want to share, that you might, that might be helpful to other people?
I have some quotes.
Oh, let's do it.
Can I pull them?
Please, yes. I love when people come prepared with quotes. You kidding me? I like a good quote.
Well, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. This one, you may have to fight a battle more than once to win it. Because I had to do like 6 surgeries.
Yeah.
Not one surgery. I had to do many to make me better. And perhaps you were made for the moment to walk through blazing fire and come forth as gold. Well,
that's exactly what happened with you. I mean, on that note, Ruthie Walling, thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
This has been such a treat.
Thank you for having me.
You truly are, in my book, like one of the strongest people I know. And I do use you in here as inspiration all the time.
Thank you.
You're just the sweetest girl, aren't you?
What can I say?
You know what? Keep crushing it out there, Ruthie.
I will.
Seriously. And for everybody who's out there following your girl, follow me on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere. Yeah. Just follow me. Google me.
Yeah, go follow her.
Follow me, okay? And keep moving.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Keep moving.
That's right.
Moving.
Good job.
Thanks.
That was so good.